Welcome to the beginning of SEC play here in our Gamecock Dynasty Week 2 as we take on the number 10 ranked Georgia Bulldogs, a rivalry game that really hasn't been close in recent years. The Gamecocks today, though, have an excellent opportunity as the Bulldogs come off of a tough loss against Texas A&M, a team that in this reality is actually pretty darn good. So today, we look to get an upset against a top-ranked team in the country and start out our season 2-0 on the year as we face our first really difficult test all year long already in week 2 in Sanford Stadium against the Bulldogs. So we see Rattler and company coming out on the field. Rattler wants to take the snap. It's a screenplay on the first snap of the game, and who else would it be? Marshawn Lloyd rumbling down for 9 yards. Now 1st and 10. Rattler out of the shotgun again. This time it's Beal Smith with him, but he wants to throw it again, and he's going to have Josh Van for 7 yards. So a couple productive plays to start the day. 2nd and 10 now. Rattler, another throw, fires to the flats. It's Lloyd again, and he is making some noise in this passing game. Another 12 yards, his second catch of the day. Now Rattler again to throw. 1st and 10. Fires, and it's intercepted across the middle. Dumas Johnson, the linebacker, was lurking. He's got a great block down to the 40. To the 30. Josh Van in pursuit, and he trips him up at the 20. And just like that, the Bulldogs defense takes this team right down into the red zone. 1st and 10. Bennett to McIntosh. McIntosh pushing people off. Pushed back and nowhere to go. He had a couple of yards, got shoved backwards, and now we find them at a 2nd and 9. Bennett got a double back set, though. This time, gonna fake it to McIntosh and goes to Milton. Milton's gonna make a man miss, and he rumbles down for 10 yards and a 1st down. Sets up a goal line stand. 2nd and goal. Stetson Bennett with the 2-back set. Play action, throwing to the end zone, and it's intercepted. Marcellus Dial down the sideline, past the 30. Past the 40 into midfield, and nobody is going to catch Marcellus Dial. What a play. Boom. There goes the Gamecocks up 7-0 on a 95-yard pick six on the 10th ranked Bulldogs. And on a 3rd and 2 on the next possession, the Bulldogs stick it to Brock Bowers and just barely get enough. They get about 3 yards of the 2.5 needed. And now a 3rd and 10 on the same possession, though. Bennett, they want to go to another screen, and this time McIntosh has nowhere to go. Brad Johnson, the senior linebacker, there to completely blow it up. 3rd and 10 on the next Gamecocks possession. Rattler wants to throw, and it's incomplete. And they go 4 down territory here. No, they will not. It's going to be a 3 and out. 2 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Now a 1st and 10. Bennett out of the shotgun. Wants to throw. He's got McConkey. McConkey shoving people off of him. Got some open space to the 50. Breaking another tackle to the 40. To the 30. Down to the 20. And fighting his man down to the 9-yard line. Lad McConkey with 66 yards on that one as the slot receiver gets a free route across the middle, and he just makes a couple men miss. Look at that. Beautiful truck. Keeps his legs moving, and he breaks this one right here by Darius Rush. And man, oh man, Cam Smith down there bringing him down eventually at the 9. But the Bulldogs will get to a 3rd and goal. A minute 20 remaining. Bennett out of the shotgun, wants to throw, nowhere to go, fires into the end zone. He had a man open, but it instead splits the receivers, and they have to settle for a short field goal here as they kick it up, and it is good. 7-3 as we get closer and closer to the second quarter. Rattler under center on this one. 3rd and 1. Goes to Lloyd to the outside, trying to break it out. And another punt for this Gamecocks offense. They cannot get anything going since that original turnover. Now Bennett wants to run it up the middle to McIntosh, breaking a few tackles, but still committee tackling here as they bring him down for a loss of 1. Should have been a loss of about 3 or 4, but instead 3rd and 4 is where we stick with them. Bennett out of the shotgun. He had McIntosh beside him. This time he goes to Adonai Mitchell, and he's going to get 9 yards on the play. 1st and 10 now for the Bulldogs. Bennett goes to McIntosh again. Got a lot of room on the left side. Brock Bowers gets back up to block, and McIntosh is going to get 21 yards on that one. Seems like this offense might be cooking a little bit now. 3rd and 3. Bennett brings his tight end in motion. Wants to snap it now. Not a play action this time. Instead, it's just a straight-up pass to Jackson, who breaks a few tackles. Rumbling down to the 5-yard line. Kirish Jackson 24 yards, and he is in the red zone with the Bulldogs now. 1st and goal. Bennett out of the shotgun, wants to go to Milton, right up the middle, and Kendall Milton with an easy 6-yard scamper, basically untouched until about the 1-yard line. And the Gamecocks now trail by a field goal, but this offense needs to get going. 3rd and 5, Rattler rolling around, play action, deep downfield, got his man Josh Vann to the 20, to the 10, and tackled down around the 5-yard line. 59 yards, and the Gamecocks a few plays later would punch it in on the Marshawn Lloyd 1-yard touchdown run, his 3rd rushing touchdown of the season as he continues his excellent campaign so far. And that is just what this Gamecocks offense needed to get going. A big play and a big scoring drive. Bennett wants to late handoff to McIntosh, and he's going to lose 2. That was read perfectly by the defensive line and linebackers. Mo Cabo with the breakdown tackle. And now a 3rd and 9. Brock Bowers once again comes in motion. Bulldogs want to throw, get the 1st down. Maybe McIntosh is open, and Bennett gets thrown down just as he tries to release it. And we find ourselves at a 2nd and 7. Rattler wants to throw it on a 2nd and 7. He's got Juice Wells, 13 yards, and another nice strike by Rattler. A very strong game so far. Now 3rd and 10. Rolling around, firing in the flats. This time it's going to go to Lloyd. And 6 yards later, we have a interesting decision here off the timeout. Rattler in offense going to go for it on 4th and 4. It's a screen play to Vann, and he's going to cut it upfield, gets lit up. But enough for the 1st down. 6 yards on the carry there. 3rd and 10 now for the Gamecocks. Rattler out of the shotgun. About 20 seconds remain. Rattler firing on the post route. Intercepted by Ringo, and thankfully they would bring him down. The offensive linemen actually have to get him, and we would head into halftime only up by 4. A little bit of a disappointing finish there, but the Gamecocks still hold the lead. Now 1st and 10. Bennett wanted another screen, broken up by Brad Johnson, and instead Zach Pickens brings him down for the sack. Now 3rd and 20 to start the 2nd half. Bennett out of the shotgun, looking for another screen. This one's McIntosh, and it's nowhere to go. Losing 4, and that is another big screen breakup there for this Gamecocks defense. They have been reading those perfectly. Now Rattler on 2nd and 16 wants to run his own screen, and Xavier Leggett, who was electric last week, only gets about 3 yards and a 3rd and 13. Rattler, play action. Lloyd goes to the left side. Rattler rolling around, nobody open, firing deep downfield, and it's almost intercepted again. Would have been the 2nd of the day for this Bulldogs defense, but instead, or the 3rd of the day, but instead they punt it away. Now 1st and 10, Bennett firing. This time he's got McIntosh in the flats, open, making a man miss down to the 35 and out to about the 37-yard line. 26 yards is where they fall down, and a 3rd and 10 now for this Bulldogs offense. Bennett out of the shotgun, 2-back set, nobody stays to block, and instead Kendall Milton gets shoved out of bounds after a 1-yard catch. And both offenses, just as you think they're getting their groove going, neither offense can really get moving downfield, and now the Gamecocks are trying to rely on their playmakers, Marshawn Lloyd. And one guy we have not heard a ton from today is Jaheim Bell. Instead, they keep it with Lloyd again on a 2nd and 12, and he's going to scamper forward for about 8 yards. Both offenses struggle to get a consistent drive going, so now on a 3rd and 4, this is huge for the Gamecocks. Firing to the outside. Oh man, Javon Bullard had a pick 6 in his hands, and instead the Bulldogs come back on a 3rd and 3 with a nice pass to Brock Bowers. A beautiful bootleg there, and a 1st down for Georgia. Final minute of the 3rd quarter, 3rd and 5. Bulldogs out of the shotgun. Brock Bowers, as usual, comes in motion. We haven't heard a ton from him in the open field, and instead Bennett's going to go to Mitchell, who pushes himself over Cam Smith. He gets about 14 yards on the play. Final few seconds of this 3rd quarter. 3rd and 7. Bennett out of the shotgun. McIntosh or Milton back there. I can't remember which one. And instead, it's going to be Dominic Blaylock with a nice corner route and a 12-yard touchdown for the Bulldogs. They take another 3-point lead. Now Rattler on 1st and 10, firing across the middle, back across his body. Oh my goodness, the 3rd interception of the day for Rattler. And this one is absolutely killer, as that might just put away any chance of coming back if the Bulldogs score a touchdown here. Bennett, first time we've seen him with nobody back there with him. This time it's going to be open to Jack Saint. and he's going to turn upfield. Marcus Jack Saint with a 12-yard catch. And this Bulldogs offense is flying down the field with a purpose. Bennett fake to McIntosh, wants to go to the outside, got it to Mitchell, breaking tackles, finally wrestled down close to the goal line at about the 3-yard line. Now 1st and goal, called a man offsides, McIntosh into the end zone. They got the penalty on the Gamecocks, and they still scored, and now with about 5:42 remaining, the Gamecocks are in desperation mode. 2nd and 10. Rattler finds his man, Jaheim Bell. We have to get him more involved in this offense. Kelly Ringo has been everywhere, though, today. That is his 6th tackle of the day, and he's also had an interception to boot it, and Rattler fires another interception. That would be his 4th of the day, and he is absolutely devastated there on the field. This offensive unit has had so much trouble today reading this Georgia defense, and they will be able to sack Bennett here with about 5 minutes and counting, but the Bulldogs just let time click down here in this 4th quarter. Now a 3rd and 8. Bennett does bring a man inside a little bit more, and he fires to that man, and Adonai Mitchell, who's had a few big catches today, is only going to get about 3 yards. So now we get to see Doty in some absolutely meaningful minutes. Lloyd up the middle, Doty's going to give it to him, and 10 yards later, they have a 1st down. Now Doty kind of trying to drive us down the field. 3rd and 10 as this Bulldogs defense continues to stand strong. Doty play action. Rolling around. Wants to run, and he's got nothing there. 4th and 10, and you've got to expect they're going for this one. Doty out of the shotgun. Lloyd to his left in the passing route. Doty fires to Brooks. Jalen Brooks, one of the first few catches we've seen from him all year long. And now we get a 1st and 10, a little bit past midfield. Doty out of the shotgun. Rolling to his right side. Got a man deep downfield. Underthrows it, and it's intercepted. Kelly Ringo, his 2nd of the day. And instead of a comeback, the Gamecocks fall short here in this 4th quarter. Final score, 24-14. The Gamecocks fall to your 10th ranked Bulldogs. A very, very stifling performance by this Bulldog defense. They did not let a lot of those big moments of the Gamecocks offense or bad moments from their own offense struggle or impact the way they played this game. They played right into their strengths, and they held this Gamecocks offense to a very embarrassing performance for this week's game. Honestly, I feel like we could have easily won this game if the offense was a little competent. We left a lot out there on the field. We left a lot of points out there on the field. Spencer Rattler on the day, 13 for 28, 157 yards, no touchdowns, 4 interceptions. That is absolutely terrible. Luke Doty, 2 for 5 and an interception there. This team just couldn't get it going in the passing game. It seemed like Georgia was everywhere at once, and it didn't help that the running game was struggling too. Marshawn, 16 for 60 and a touchdown. Still probably the brightest spot on this roster today. We didn't even get our 3rd running back, Juju McDowell, a touch. Christian Bill Smith only had 2 carries. Very, very bad management there on my part. And Marshawn Lloyd also probably our best receiver, 3 for 27. I guess Josh Van was actually probably the best, 3 for 72. But he's definitely weighed heavily by that 59-yard reception. Overall, this team just did a lot of bad stuff today. You know it's bad when Cam Smith has the most tackles because he's your safety. And that means the other team's offense is consistently getting into the 2nd and 3rd levels on the defense. Marcellus Dial had the 1 touchdown, returned it 95 yards. Probably, definitely the best play of the game, and that puts us in a weird position. We've got a lot of heavily favored matchups this season. We're favored against Vandy, we're favored against South Alabama, against Missouri, we're favored against Ole Miss, I believe, but we've also got a lot of big matchups coming into the near future that we are going to struggle if we play like this again. Texas A&M, Kentucky, Tennessee, Missouri probably, Mississippi State, Florida, and Clemson. A bunch of teams that, yeah, we may be able to compete after watching us play today, but if we play like we did today, we're not going to win any of those games. So this season is already at a weird spot, and yeah, I hope we're going to be able to turn it around a little bit. Right now, the top 25, no upsets really major at all outside of Georgia's last week against A&M. About the same as you would expect it to be. Oklahoma State did lose last week to Mississippi State, so I guess you could consider that a pretty big upset, and also Kentucky lost to Arkansas, but not really an upset because Arkansas was ranked as well. And yeah, Texas comes in as the newest ranked team. They took on BYU this week, and let's see what happened between that matchup. It was probably the best matchup of this entire week, and it was a 25-22 matchup. You know, a Big 12 interconference rivalry brewing maybe, and the Longhorns beat the Cougars 41-38 in overtime as Texas takes down BYU in game day here at BYU. So a very good matchup there. They had a very good, outcome of that one. Usually some of the game day games don't end up being all that good. And hopefully for the future reference, that's how all of the game days can be in this series. Let me know if you'd be interested in seeing a little bit of a recap, kind of a recap episodes of the outside world, basically, of everything that's not involving South Carolina. That'd be interesting, I think, and I'd love to hear if that's something you guys would want to see. But right now, the recruiting scale, nothing too important. We sit at about 500 on John Baker. Chris Dobzinski, we're going after a little bit, not really too hard. I'm not going to try and go after. I'm actually going to take my points out of Chris Dobzinski because I think we'll be able to get Brandon Robinson and John Baker, so we don't really need Dobzinski or Gary Richard, at that matter, from Oklahoma. We don't need all these guys. I am adding a bit of a handicap. I'm not going to scout guys anymore, so if they end up being a bust or if they end up being very good, that's for me to find out when I actually get them to commit. So it's going to be a little bit of an interesting, thing to see play out. And right now we have, we've got a few guys. Ben Sands from Florida, 5-star athlete. 4-star tackle Bobby Jones we're going after. I don't know if we'll be able to get up higher on his board. Jamal Wilson is a guy I've went after pretty heavily, and we are up at the top of his board. Randy Ridgway, a guy we're going after. John Davis and Steve Spencer, a bunch of guys, local guys, especially, who I've very much liked going after so far to start this season. We do have a few guys that I'd like to add some points to down here. Unfortunately, we can't give points to everybody. And our tight end position, I think we have another year on Jaheim Bell right now. So I'm going to stick some points onto Greg Jackson and hope that we can convince him maybe to make that leap over to South Carolina. Where's he have right now? He has Penn State right now. So hopefully we can convince him to come a little bit closer to home here in South Carolina, which is much closer to Mississippi than Penn State is. But anyways, nothing too exciting today. No big, makings in recruiting or in the conference standings or anything like that. If you guys did enjoy this episode, please hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you get a notification every time we post an episode or any other video I post on this channel. Thank you all for continuing to support this series, and we'll see you next week as we take on the Vanderbilt Commodores.